can get into that more in the Q&A as well. But I did want to hand it over to Terrence Kwan. Are you there?
Hello, Andrew.
Hey, how are you?
Good, I'm good.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, and then the floor is yours.
Well, thank you to every panelist and Andrew for moderating such a exhilarating topic on AI adoption in the integrated resorts. So I myself, I'm an academic researcher by training. So I got my PhD from the University of Cambridge in biochemistry and organic chemistry. And I've worked in the pharmaceutical industry for a few years now. I'm currently the head of science with Avalon Steritech. And today I'm going to talk a bit about our product, which is a collaborative robot, which we think will be, an entry or a nice way for integrated resorts to start beginning to adopt these AI operating products. So I'm just going to share my screen. Right, can everyone see? Great. So I'm sure, as all of you know, integrated resorts are, they have so many different functions, including retail, entertainment, gaming, hotel, as well as exhibitions and conferences. But COVID-19 has really brought about significant change to the way how businesses are being done in the integrated resorts. And people's confidence in your venue is of utmost priority to really kind of, bring back the businesses and bring back the people flow into your area. So I believe this 5 pillars should really be turned into 6, where we can include health and safety into one of the key aspects for integrated resorts. So how would you actually do that, but in a sustainable manner? So I think robotic approach is one of the ways forward. And the problem with this is there's a lot of myth surrounding how you deploy robots. There's a myth. Xavier very aptly pointed out before. Will it replace human workers and cut jobs? There's a lot of labor union resistance in many areas. And people are often worried about robotics being dangerous. When you think of robotics, you think of the industrial robots that's being used in production lines. They're very heavy duty, and you need to have all these safety parameters in place to really protect the workers. And so that, are they expensive? Can we afford them? And if our venue is very small, is it really applicable to automation or the use of cobots? And last but not least, one of the myths is robots, only a certain selected individual can really use robots. They're very technically challenging to use. Frontline workers can have a lot of challenges when it comes to operating them. And today, hopefully, I can address some of these myths and kind of bring about this revolution for integrated resorts in how to really adopt robotics or cobots into your operations to really impact the health and safety aspects of your venue. So before I go into our product, I'm just gonna, being a scientist myself, I'm going to talk a bit about a comparative observational study that was being published in the American Journal of Infection Control. So they did a study in a New York hospital, a very large community hospital based in New York, and they compared a protocol which relies on manual cleaning compared to a cobot approach where they use robot and manual cleaning together to remove any sort of hospital-acquired infection. And in this specific scenario, they were using MRSA. So the manual approach is actually an SOP that was developed by the Association of Peri-Operative Nurse. So it is being deployed nationwide, and it's often used for terminal cleaning of operation rooms after a patient has been treated. So using this SOP, and they did this multiple times to get an average, they found that hospital-acquired infections were only reduced by around 35 to 40% when using a manual approach. Alternatively, they developed a robot which relies on chemical and UV disinfection. And what was specific for this study is that they only placed items that was amenable to this type of robotic use. And they combined other more delicate equipments for manual cleaning. So this is a collaborative approach. We're not replacing any workers here. We're only enhancing the overall efficacy and efficiency in cleaning. And what they found was when they used a collaborative approach, you can see here, there's a diagram here, humans are outside as the robot is working inside as well. They found out they were able to achieve a greater than 95% reduction in hospital-acquired infection. So I think this is a very kind of fundamental proof that when used in conjunction and when used in the correct manner, robotic approaches can really help enhance the overall efficiency and effectiveness of the cleaning and disinfection. So going back to our, our product. So as our CEO, Louis Ho, just mentioned, we are Avalon Stereotech, and we have formed a joint venture with the SoftBank Robotics, which is a worldwide leader in automated robots. And our joint venture has a mission, and which is to go beyond the visible. So a lot of pre-COVID times, we were focused only on the visible. You have dust, you have dirt on the ground. And that's why a lot of autonomous vacuum sweepers have been developed for commercial use as well as for household use. However, when COVID arrived, people shifted their attention to the invisible, the viruses, the bacteria. So how can you address those in a robotic and autonomous manner? What we have done is we developed a solution, a 2-in-1 cleaning and disinfection robot, which can eliminate up to 99% of microorganisms within your target area. And we are the first robot to be approved or certified by SGS Hong Kong, which is the third-party testing laboratory based in, with headquarters based in Switzerland. So all is well, you can adopt these robots, but what is the impact or what is the benefit that you can really bring out of this? Robotics, you have this consistent performance that cannot be achieved by manual cleaning, as evidenced by the scientific report that I just described. And when we think of COVID, we think of a lot of workers wearing these health and safety suits, spraying a lot of chemicals, which often can be an overuse of chemicals, and hence really has a very poor sustainable aspects to its approach. But when you're using a robotic system, you can have this consistent control of how much chemical is enough. So we're not overdosing the whole area with chemicals, which can bring harm to your environment and to your frontline workers, but we're actually controlling the right amount of disinfectant to eliminate any sort of viruses or bacteria that is present in your venue. And also, Louis just mentioned, if you have a COVID case, you don't want to be asking your frontline employees to go and treat that room. And that's why you can deploy your robot and be that sort of frontline guard to protect your employees. And last but not least, robots, when used in an efficient and collaborative method, can really optimize the overall operations and workflow of the integrated resort. So I'm just gonna bring out a video to show. It's very short, but it really highlights how our robot works. So I'm just gonna do a new share. I don't know if you guys can see this. So what we've done here, So we've set the robot with a path, and it autonomously runs around this area over 10 to 20 times to disinfect. And what's good about the robot is that it can work 24/7. It can work overnight during off-peak hours. And if you ask a manual cleaner to clean the same area over and over again, he or she may start to have this spot cleaning phenomenon, which is not an effective way to do it. And you can see our robot is actually disinfecting the shopping mall, where it can interact with people. Actually, if I bring you back to the middle here, there was this case where it was interacting with a kid. Let's see. And it's safe because we have a lot of safety features. The kid is interacting with the robot. The robot will not run over anybody. It's a very safe and user-friendly robot. And this is why collaborative robot is really the way forward for AI and robotic adoption in integrated resorts. So going back to my last slide here. And this is to really kind of bring the point forward. The mission of a lot of integrated resorts right now is to restore public confidence and to really allow them to enjoy your venue in a healthy and safe way. And to do so is not to, deploy, hundreds of workers spraying chemicals on a day-to-day manner. You have to do it in a holistic manner, in a sustainable manner. It has to be a responsible use of chemicals where we strike a very important balance between environmental and human health and the virus risk. And at the same time, we don't want to be overusing chemicals, which can then in turn generate antimicrobial resistance or even damage, the very expensive carpets or the, velvet greens on your gaming floors. So I think sustainability is a very key feature that needs to be taken into account when adopting, health and safety measures. And last but not least, I think, the panelists, touched on it briefly. It's very hard to get clients to adopt new innovation, but, the world is forcing them to do so. And I think AI-powered cobots is one of the kind of easy, low-hanging fruits for them to get a hang of what it means to adopt AI and innovation. There's a lot of research going into how we can visualize cleanliness as well. So I think there's a lot of new research going on in this area now. So that's it from me. And thank you for everyone's time. Thank you.
One quick question for you. Obviously, the floor is handled. Do you have any products for baccarat tables for that felt, by any chance?
Yeah. So we have antimicrobial fabric that we don't want to be replacing the fabric, but we have chemicals that we can spray on the fabric, which can create a durable antimicrobial protection, whereby bacteria and viruses are not allowed to grow on them. So you won't get that multiplication or effect, and really limit the transmission risks for the venue.
Trust me, you don't want to be changing these tops anyway, because some of these owners have very specific colors that they need. So if you're one,
so I think
fraction off.
Yeah, so I think robotic chemical spray, we can generate these antimicrobial coatings, which are safe to the material and also have demonstrated efficacy against a number of bacteria and viruses as well. So do get in touch with Lewis. We are very happy to discuss with you guys at more lengths on what products can be best served for your venue and integrated resort.
Okay, great. Thank you. And obviously you're going to stick around for the Q&A as well. Okay, great.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Terrence.